Treant, so they had to have been expecting this to happen. For the Dragon Knight to come out last, I was messaging you, I was saying, oh, I want to see them pick a Storm or something like that, because when you think of the heroes that were banned, Ember's gone, Puck's gone, Batrider was gone, all this stuff that could find the backlines and look to assassinate them were removed from the equation. And I feel like for Mystique to have any kind of success, they got to find the Treant and they got to find the Rubik, because it feels like with this LBZS lineup, once they start to get their own BKBs, and if Treant Protector gets a Blink Dagger as well, I just can't see Mystique finding those pickoffs, because you're going to have to run past all of this damage and have to pop your BKBs to be able to make it happen. So you got to go with what's been working so far, and for me, it's LBZS with this lineup.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy at all for the boys on Die to be able to get those backline supports. Potentially the Dragon Knight, you know, one of the issues they had before this pick was that they weren't able to take objectives. So maybe that's where the Elder Dragon form's able to come into play early on, so it's a little bit easier for you to hunt across the map, because I know that's what the panel was saying, that this Die lineup really thrives on getting kill after kill. And maybe if you just have such an early net worth lead, then it might be a little bit easier to find those supports like you're saying.
I mean, it's also just another one of these reliable stuns that combos together relatively well with the Sacred Arrow, so enables a few of these gank attempts super early on. You talk about that roaming potential, right? So the Lina, sorry, not the Lina, the Mirana is certainly able to do that, as long as you can get into a little bit of that damage, maybe around the Dragon Knight hitting that level 6 timing. Could be around the time that some of these mid-observer wards start to expire as well, so let's see what their timing is going to be like for that in about 5 or so minutes.
We'll see early on how this lane's able to go between the two. Of course, for me, I think this is a game where Leshrac can just completely take over.
Yeah,
I was a little bit surprised about the last phase bans from Dire. Viper, maybe a little bit more specific for the Slark. The Doom could have been protecting the DK pick if they were already considering it, but they left the Lesh in the pool, man, and Lesh is arguably the biggest counter. Him and Bloodseeker, I think, are the biggest counters to the Slark, and I think that this hero also provides a lot that they were lacking in regards to AoE damage on LBZS and an early tower push as well, so I was quite surprised they left in the pool.
Yeah, I mean, even especially if you consider those two previous games in the most recent series where they ended in under 30 minutes. I feel like if you want to have any shot here, you got to try and draw the game out at least a little bit. I know you're going against a Lina Treant Protector lineup that's just going to get scarier and scarier as it goes on, but you can't be losing this game in 20-odd minutes, which it feels like is a definite possibility.
Well, what lanes have to go right for them to prevent that kind of early 25-minute loss?
Every one of them. I mean, you would assume that the top lane is going to go, let's say, best for them, just because it's a Slark into a Mars, but then you think of, well, what support have we got to pair together with this? And it's a Tiny, right? Like, this is not really what you come to expect, the 5 Tiny, unless you've got it. The last time I saw 5 Tiny was when Fnatic were playing it, but, well, they look to get a kill here. There we go.
Ooh, all right. Yeah, Ray finds it, actually. Wasn't expecting the damage to be enough with that tree throw, but First Blood picked up. Unfortunately, the Slark is unable to get that Perma Agi, which you'd love to pick up for early on.
For who?
No, don't do this. Don't do this. It's a treat to be able to say it.
That's what it is. You got to get all 3 Fs in it.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I'll remember now.
Certainly going a little bit better than expected. I was saying before, unless you've got some kind of reposition on the lane, it can be a little bit difficult to be able to play this Tiny into a double melee lane, especially against a Mars somewhat, because God's Rebuke is going to be really effective. You can even just spear back to be able to prevent a lot of this early aggression. So I think Helios is just going to be a lot more defensive about his positioning in this lane. Obviously, he still wants to get a lot of these right-click trades off because he's got, of course, the Boots of Speed. You're going to be able to get that range happening. But I think he's just going to be constantly monitoring the Tiny's mana pool as to when he might be able to go for these avalanche combinations.
Why do we think they have put the Tiny in the safe lane and the Mirana down in the off lane? Do you feel like there's a particular reason why? They will get a kill onto Ray, speaking about the Tiny?
I mean, what does a Tiny do into this bottom lane is my big issue, right? You've got 0 armor early on, so the the Lina is just going to completely harass you down with the build that you go early on, which is the Blades of the Attack, just into a little bit of regen. And then you've got a Tree Protector, probably the one hero in the game that out-trades a Tiny super early on. That plus the Leech Seed on top of that just leads for a very bad outcome. So I can understand why they did it.
TZY might be in some trouble. We'll have enough mana to play around with the spear. Hold the Slark into place for the moment, but well, he didn't get enough distance away once the spear connected, so the Slark was easily able to chase him down, and this time he'll get some perma agi as a reward.
Even look to farm this here. Well done by Helios.
Bottom lane as well.
Oh.
Screen Protector? No, he's going to be okay. Just pushed him out of the arrow range, but they should still be able to chase him down nonetheless, as the position 5 on LBZS does go down.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at NJ as well on this Primal Beast. I mean, they've been prioritizing it a fair amount, but on this patch, he is 1 win, 5 losses with this Primal Beast. So it's not exactly something that you can go back to over and over if it is going to keep failing you. Maybe they thought it was a number of other reasons that might have been, but certainly for this game, with the strategy that you need to play against the Lina, I really don't hate the Primal. I think it's one of the better heroes at being able to punish her before she gets to that crucial BKB timing.
Is there a kind of different item build that you look to go for with this Primal Beast whenever you're playing versus the Lina, or is it kind of the cookie cutter?
I'd say it's cookie cutter. I mean, you can just see as soon as he picks up the Arcane Boots, he immediately looks to start making some action happen against Guoguo on his Tree and Protector. Might pay with his life, though, and I mean, that's the thing. If you've got those 7 stacks of the Fiery Soul, you're just going to cop it in the face every single time.
Yeah, plus that, of course, early Falcon Blade here from Fonte, so plenty of damage for him to work with, and Go. I mean, you take a look as well. You had that second point in the lead sheet, even going for the double ring of protection just to kind of help out versus Mirana right clicks, which may have been enough to bring him down if it didn't have that extra little armor.
I wonder if there's something where NJ is just going straight back at it.
That he is, and top lane as well. We got some action. So both side lanes, LBZS are going to lose their supports. For Fonte, though,
like,
he's going to try and continue to chase. He's got the movement speed, but can he catch up? Looks like it's not going to be the case, and LSA is off the mark as well.
Wonder if NJ is just praying for a regen rune to be there, but Zode's going to be able to pick up the haste rune anyway. Like, he immediately goes back in. You get the kill onto the tree, which is pretty important.
Dolphin might be in trouble mid. They're starting to rotate all their supports, so Dragon Tail can set up perfectly for the arrow. Is the Leech Seed heal enough? And that's not going to be the case, as Gua along with Helios are going to try and get some revenge. Elite will be up shortly, but he's going to look for the deny instead. So beautifully done from the early game out of Team Mystique.
Yeah, certainly very well done. I mean, even Guoguo and his Tree Protector was waiting in the base just to see if there were any super early rotations that might punish if he wasn't there, because of course he doesn't have any points of the living armor just yet. It's understandable. He's only level 3,
top lane.
Level 4.
Dolphins rotated. Pulse Nova, easy kill onto the Slark, and now he's going to try and catch up to the Rockman as well. The stun required to help chase down, and he won't be able to land it perfectly, as now Dolphin has plenty of time to be able to walk under the tower. The toss will be the deterrent, and
TZY could have got that kill if he wanted to. He has the Spirit Mars available, but yeah, just wanting to give it over to Dolphin, realizing how important it is for him to continue to snowball. Of course, Dolphin doesn't have any points in the Diabolic Edict at this time, so his presence up in this top lane isn't really going to do all that much of anything, and well, you can't leave a DK on his own. He's just going to shove those waves in pretty quickly. He's even got 3 points in Breathe Fire just to enable that.
I kind of would have liked to see them keep the Lesh here, though. The Elder Dragon forms on cooldown. You have Arena. The Slark just TP'd in as well, and you could definitely kill him a second time, and if you get that tower, then all of a sudden his lane is just completely over.
True.
But now it's Dire that are looking to get aggressive as NJ. Oh, he'll make his first rotation of the game. Try and target down TZY. Helios will be there to protect him, so the Mars will get out. That's an extra rotation as well, as they even bring Ray back up to the top lane, so a lot of resources expended for that attempt. Meanwhile, inside the river, a battle over the regen. Unfortunately, the Leshes are going to be able to refill the bottle, but no one's going to go down in the end.
And you know who the happiest person about all of this is? Just Fonte, sitting down bottom, just farming away on his own. Lina getting all the space in the world once again to be able to do whatever the hell she wants. So this is, again, another case of, I mean, just have a look over at the net worth, right? Primal Beast, he's starting to fall behind in a big way. Should get those kills. Not really one of them that looks to flash farm all that easily. That's why they made the rotation up towards top, trying to get this kill onto TZY. Will he drop the arena?
I don't think he can now. Slark's pounced on top of him too fast, so there won't even be a thought about that defensive arena. NJ sticking around to help Slark get a kill. Really trying to slow down this Mars's game. Of course, that is a lot of their initiating early on, so if you can minimize how fast that blink comes out, then it could make it a little bit more easier for Dai to make their plays, and they're going to continue moving across the map. And Jay's got that onslaught back up and available, but I don't think by himself he can get the kill into Helios. Unfortunately, the Tiny was a bit disconnected to help out.
It's going to help him out a little bit with the farming of these neutrals, just tossing him into that camp there. I want to say this in the least flamey way possible, but it kind of feels like NJ's playing as a support right now. Like, he's completely left his lane, he's not farming, he's rotating through, trying to kill cores like supports do at this stage of the game. And it just hasn't really worked all that well for him so far. I mean, look at this ward as well. Just perfectly scouting out the movement of all three strength heroes that they've got on Mystique's side right now. And all the while, Lena's continuing to farm. I don't even know if you can kill Dolphin here underneath the tower with a Tree Protector close by.
He's already got 1300 health as well from Dolphin. They're going to try and combine up with the Dragonite out of Dragon form. It's a lot of damage early on to the left track, but it might not be enough as Dolphin sidesteps out to the right side, dodges the arrow as well, but he won't be able to survive long enough as Team Mystique bring all the boys to the mid lane to have a successful skirmish. They'll even be rewarded with a second kill onto Helios. Let's see if they can get some damage into the tower, though. That's really the important thing with this Dragonite against the Tree Protector.
I like the fact that they went for that right then as well. I don't believe you've got the Tome of Knowledge available just yet, or someone might not have purchased it. But if Tree Protector has Overgrowth, when you go for these dives, he is so much more effective, and they might be able to pick him off.
Yeah, speaking about the dive-in, first pulverizer of the game, TZY is still able to drop the arena. Fonte's in a great position to utilize the arena so we can just get the right clicks going. Even a Laguna Blade for good measure to cut away the life of Zone. Now they're going to try and chase up to Ray. No escape for the Rockman. Locked into place. Fonte's off to an incredible start. And what else would you expect out of Alina? Top of the net worth already 11 minutes in with a dominating streak.
Yeah, I agree with Lizard. I'm a little tired of seeing it. At least Mystique's draft feels a little bit more exciting. They were able to convert on a few more kills though, right? NJ, just through that minute or so after I said that, had picked up another 3 both for himself and the team. Gonna try and kill Dolphin up on this top side.
That they are, but TZY stay off the mark on the spear. Do they want to potentially turn it? We see Dolphin's damage is something that Dai have to respect. But Dolphin actually doesn't have the boys to play with at the moment. No one else wanted to rotate top to take the team fight, so I'll just sacrifice TZY. I mean, you take a look at what they're getting across the map. Helios completely shoving in mid. He's going to get another full wave for his farm, and meanwhile, bottom lane as well. Guo is getting pretty close to a Blink Dagger, almost halfway as well for the Dream Protector, who has level 6.
Yeah, I mean, this is the dream right now for LBZS, right? You've rotated so many heroes. Every single hero was up at that top lane, not around a siege creep timing where you could, use all of that extra damage to be able to take a tower. It was just to get a single kill, and it was onto the Mars who, TZY has been doing his job so far against a pretty rough lane, right? Dropped to the arena. He's died a few times, but he's been enabling the Lina so much.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Let's see if they can look to make quick use of this Blink Dagger pickup though from Zone. Already got about half duration left on the Elder Dragon form. They're actually not going to butt their heads against this tier 1 mid. So once again, this is going to be an Elder Dragon form that doesn't really give them a whole lot.
Oh, they're going to use the last few seconds of it. I mean, it would be great if they could find the pickoff. Again, Dream is the one that they want to get. Lina would be a great pickup as well.
Lina's the target. I mean, that is priority number 1. Let's see if they're going to have the damage. It's up to Ray if he can close the distance, and he can without Avalanche thanks to the Pogo Stick, and that's a blink. That, hang on, what the hell? He's got a blink already on the Tiny, so he's 5, 2, and 3. That's a great blink timing from the position 4, 5?
5,
regardless.
Yeah, he was in the top lane. He got the first block.
All right, Ray.
I mean, if they mid tower as well, that'll be a big bonus. Maybe they're feeling that LBZS don't have enough damage to be able to contest them. And I want to see if they've had a look at Dolphin's inventory recently, because he doesn't have a TP available for himself, so he's not going to be able to TP down and join in onto this. I wonder if that's going to be the trigger for them to move on forward. Ray's just looking for a pickoff to be able to start this all out, though, with the Blink Dagger. Just getting a nice deep ward down. Yeah, like it. Again, they know where Lena's going to be farming, right? So that's exactly why Ray is playing around this sort of area.
This is a really interesting read from Dire. We've got multiple Midases being worked on. Zone's got his glove, needing the recipe, and the Slark already has his own Midas as well. So it feels like they have the assumption that they can go late game versus LBZS lineup. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I've seen so many Lenas just have like double the next person's net worth that I'm not feeling super confident about it, especially considering how the early game went. Maybe if it was different, right? Maybe if the Lena was absolutely dumpstered in lane, you could say, look, we're always just going to be able to keep on top of this threat. But yeah, I'm not feeling so confident about it right now. Maybe if they had someone that was like an easy Skadi builder, you know, or if they had, I don't know, just someone that was more easily able to find the Treant Protector. My issue is that I feel like Slark's going to have a bit of an issue until he gets into the Aghanim Scepter plus the BKB. That's what's going to enable you to immediately gap close and be able to find those backlines.
Regardless, so it is still Dire that's looking to play aggressive early on with these blinks. They need to try and find this tower, and it's not going to be easy. He's Radiant. Always nearby to help protect it. This time, Team Mystique won't be able to get that perfect jump that they're requiring to maybe catch out one of the members on LBZS, but they'll still stick around. They've got great vision down at this bottom jungle, so this is really their home to play with over the next couple of minutes, but they love to also get mid as a place to be farming as well.
Yeah, but that's 2 Elder Dragon forms now that they've used with basically 0 damage done onto this mid tower. And you know what they're going to do? Guogo is just going to be using that living armor off cooldown, healing it up. He knows how important it is to be able to protect Fonte's farm, especially considering the fact of where he died last time, right? They know that because they've made that rotation, they don't want to expend too many sentry wards to be able to protect their area, especially now that the observer ward's just been dewarded. So they need to be able to back off and farm in the safer spaces.
Okay, this is really, really interesting. Remember the TI match? I'll hold that thought, but what's NJ doing? Are they going to go on him?
He's just farming.
No, no. Okay, so remember how we had Tundra Secret, of course, and the Naga Siren. I won't have a chance as top lane. Flark's being a bit of a nuisance. He's actually going to go for this. He's got the shuttered end. Instant use of the purge as well, so the overgrowth won't be able to help out. Now Fonte's in trouble. That's where TZY is able to come into play, but the beautiful Arena holding them both into the middle. Fonte can now have an escape avenue to get out, but TZY will not have the same fate. Now Dire, they've connected as well. Zone and Ray jumping over the top. They'll find another as the Rubik brought down under the tower as Team Mystique, utilizing the blinks perfectly. Everyone shows up to take that team fight.
Oof. Man, they're doing the assassination style that they were wanting, right? And I guess they were sort of aware at how they were wanting to address this fact that, you know, Lena died previously. They know exactly where she's going to be farming. The Treant Protector, that's the first time I feel like Guogo has been in a poor position, you know? You're not like most position 5s where you want to put yourself in harm's way. You're a reactionary support, not someone that has a ton of mobility super early on. So the fact that he let himself die first meant that had to expend the overgrowth.
They want to take this fight. Toss towards the pulverize. Multiple members of LBZS are incredibly low, and that's where Zone's able to come into play. NJ's not the easiest kill with the hood activated. They'll be able to get rid of the magic absorption pretty quickly thanks to the Leshrac, and the spear's plenty of damage as well.
Get a full 20 charges
21
on it.
charges. All right, so
been able to get away. So yeah, before you were rudely interrupted by this great gameplay.
Yes, I know, rudely interrupted. Okay, so I can't remember what game it was in the grand final. It was potentially game 1 where we had that 33 on Tidehunter going like Pipe and Mage Slayer to help deal with the Leshrac answer to the basically. Naga Siren. Yeah, this could be a very similar build where we see, I know right now like Greaves and Pipe is pretty common on offlaners, but maybe this Pipe is going to be a decent answer to the Lesh because again, we spoke a lot about this Lesh being a counter to the Slark, so maybe that can help mitigate some of the late game worries that the Slark will have. As well, we're going to see Ray jump in, but they've got the Arena to be able to protect the members on LBZS, so they've got firm control of this close little proximity as TZY will land the spear onto Zone. Dolphin gets the double kill, and Dire have to scurry away. That's not an area they could fight into all the ultimates that LBZS were playing with, and it's going to cost some multiple heroes along with their objectives as well.
Will indeed. You just see the big difference, right, when you're actually able to make an impact with that Treant Protector, the Overgrowth holding them in place and just allowing Fonte to railing Hellfire from the backlines. Even the Leshrac rate dealing more than 4,000 damage in that single engagement.
Tower is under attack.
So yeah, I can understand what you're saying in terms of like the magic resistance, but I guess like that's really how offlane is built these days, right? It's the mech, it's the pipe, you know, all of these aura builds. And to be honest, do you feel like it fits with Primal Beast's toolkit? You know, most of the time you want the Blink Dagger, you want the BKB, you want an Aghanim Scepter if you want to be able to break things. But I guess they just made the call that, look, we've drafted this lineup that's centered around bursting a Lina or a Leshrac, so we got to make sure that we're able to survive that little bit extra. So maybe that's just the mentality that they're going to be grouping up as 5 a lot, so let's get a good amount of effectiveness out of these aura items.
Well, I guess the one thing that Dai do lack is... They're
there.
going to jump on Fonte. Stoss to be able to set up perfectly for the arrow, but the force stuff might disjoint the follow-up damage. But DQQ is going to be able to jump in, and now Team Mystique, they're already looking for their next target. TZY's on the chopping block, another toss-up from Ray.
They found Globo.
They'll find multiple members into the third, but can... Oh, hang on, Dolphin? He's just running mindlessly into the middle of all of Team Mystique's members. Is the Bloodstone going to be enough to keep him healthy through this long drawn-out fight? And well, the Spirit Vessel can just heavily mitigate that. A crazy attempt from the Leshrac, and meanwhile, bottom lane, Helios.
The Jukes.
And a Juke to the tree line, Avalanche coming up shortly, but it's not fast enough, as in the end, it's a full wipe globally for Team Mystique.
Yeah, and that was another instance where, unfortunately, the Overgrowth just wasn't used, so they had the full follow-up after... Again, it's got to be stated, I feel like Ray is playing a fantastic game here on the position 5 Treant Protector, 7, 3, and 11 at the 20-minute mark. That is insane.
Yeah, the Treant Protector, aka the Tiny for Ray, he's balling up.
Did I say Treant?
Did you?
They both start with T, okay?
Of course, I understand. The T's can be a little bit confusing.
Especially for us Australians. We speak Australian English, not, you know, proper English.
Australian English. I mean, it's the best English out there.
True. Just shorten everything, be lazy as hell.
Everything. Add O's at the end of every word.
O's and E's.
O's and E's. It's...
At least we've got Fonte.
Honestly.
He's backing us up.
Fonte, yeah, exactly.
Fonte.
Zoni. Fonte, mate. Fonte. Maybe that's how they speak to him. They greet him as soon as he comes into the call. Fonte, mate, what's good?
I picked later again today, mate. Yeah, of course you are.
You filthy bugger. Bottom lane, who are we on? Slark once again. We're looking to try and force some reactions.
Now, this is a little bit better, though. We don't have the Mage Slayer on the offlaner, but it's going to be the Slark picking it up, and he's got it together with the Aghanim Scepter. To me, my big timing for Mystique is around this BKB for because then he is going to be feeling that very juicy impact that it's going to be able to provide him, right? Like, the levels, of course, it feels kind of nice through the Midases, but I'm just impressed by the fact that he's still been able to stay relatively active, 11 kill involvements, while still getting a very healthy amount of farm.
See what they can get out of this smoke, though, from Dire. Wraparound pass Radiant's T1 tower. They're going to scout out Dolphin inside the river. DQQ with the follow-up arrow. It's a lot of damage early on, but the tree tries to get in the middle to protect it, but Ray's combo again! Ray doing it back-to-back team fights, coming in huge for Dire. Helios will escape, maybe. Slark's going to play aggressive, and why not? Mage Slayer's going to help protect him, even activating the Shadow Dance. Looks like they won't be able to follow up with the arrow, however. So no back off, but multiple deaths in a row for Dolphin's Leshrac.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's just an overwhelming amount of damage. We talked about the importance of that BKB timing for the Slark. It kind of feels similar for the Leshrac as well, just to be able to break out of the stuns to make sure you're not getting chain comboed and get out of the Slark leash as well. I feel like that's a big reason why Guoguo's gone for the 4-star for himself instead of the Blink Dagger straight up. He was getting a very good amount of farm, and he made a switch up after the Slark had a pretty good start to this game.
I guess
they're not going to smoke under this ward, are they? Ripping up a little bit. They're de-warding just to potentially hope that they're not going to get found out, but it's a very nice ward placed down.
And I guess that's another thing as well for stages, is that this Slark is going to be such a nuisance with your vision control. Yep, that observer ward worked underneath. So let's see what the call is going to be from Dire. What is the game plan for them? You're going to try and take a fight around your triangle, or do you just waste out the smoke from raiding? Let they get their vision down and play this one safe. At the moment, they are starting to push out, but
I like NJ pushing down this bottom side. He's going to TP back, realizing that they're probably in the general vicinity. And yeah, look at the pings. They're just saying, let's farm, let's fight right underneath any clear vision that we've got.
Oh no, TZY. He went for the blind spear. The scan connected, so they knew someone was nearby. But for that attempt, he's going to be penalized still. They haven't brought him down just yet. TZY, he'll get the arena off. Maybe enable.
Slark's here.
Beast. A 1-for-1 early on, but maybe Slark is able to turn it around. They're going to try and target down with the left track. Mage Slayer mitigating a lot of the damage. Is Ray in with the triple avalanche, and Slark, he might not have the damage to follow up though, as Fonte stands strong, standing his ground, trying to deliver the damage, but it's not enough. They'll double back in. Zone rewarded for the kill. They'll look for their last target as Ray. Well, he started the fight huge, and he'll come in clutch at the end as well to make it another team wipe.
Oh, that could have even gone so much better for either team, right? You land that initial stun while they were standing inside of the trees, then maybe you're able to convert on that before Mystique looks to join in. And, well, Slark, he just pounced into that Mars arena because despite the fact that they did a really good job of punishing him, didn't take him down. He was able to get it off, and well, it's still a full team wipe going the way of Mystique, but does mean that Slark's going to have to at least take a tiny bit of extra time to be able to get into that BKB for himself.
Yeah, man comes leaping in, thinks he can jump over the arena walls. Yeah, this high ground advantage, pounce as well. King, but which sometimes it doesn't work like that with the walls. In the end, though, it doesn't matter. It's a fight you win still without this BKB on the Slark, and this net worth lead up to 10,000 now for Team Mystique. So they are in a commanding position to be able to take this game one.
With a couple Midases as well, that can't be underrated. To me, the MVPs of this game have been DQQ and Ray by far. DQQ obviously not as important, but I feel like just his choice to go into a Spirit Vessel, which, you know, Mirana Spirit Vessel, game-breaking, but his usage of it has always been on point, right? He's not just tossing it out with a chance that a BKB is going to go off. It's always in combination with something else.
Dude, Ray's got a scepter. Dude,
clearing trees, I guess.
Oh my god. He's gonna give a lot of gold over. Okay, pump fake the stun, but they'll land it on the second attempt, and 389 gold to Dolphin and 288 for the rest. No slouch of gold nor experience given over to LBZS for free.
He's got to drop that Philosopher's Stone. He's actually nerfing his own tree volley by holding onto it.
They feel strong right now on Dive. They do have this really good ward that's scanning out Dolphin. They're going to see the rest of the team starting to funnel towards the Lestrax location, so Ira definitely has...
I don't know. We've seen 10k lead throws before, and I feel like going forward without your Tiny, that's been the reason that you've won all of these previous engagements, is certainly a way to throw a game away.
Not only the Tiny is this crazy scepter timing, but Zone, of course, with that Midas now has his own scepter completed. And the big thing as well with the Midas is you're a hero that excels with experience. Your talents are incredible. So it's getting very, very close. Oh, they might get him.
Oh, does he reveal? Oh, so close. So, and the shard picked up for the Slark. But in the meantime, Lena's reached level 20. So now you've got so much more Fiery Soul stacks available. Sorry, damage and attack speed and movement speed. There we go. From the Fiery Soul coming through that you're going to have to deal with.
See if that's going to be enough for this team fight. Mystique with the smoke. I mean, the Lestrax their target though. Jump into the arrow, and the TP is going to be too late to protect her. They might be able to go for more. They had to cancel one of their TPs, so they won't have the full 4-man squad. And in fact, Fonte top lanes by himself. Potentially just BKB TP out. In fact, the LSA is going to be enough to kind of push the Slark away.
Titan's Liver could be quite nice for the Leshrac. I know Fairy's Trinket can be kind of tempting to hold on to, but for me, it's just about the duration of all of these stuns.
Is it the speed back play? Oh.
Just with the Elder Dragon form, with how all of that increased magic resistance. They can see that he's got a BKB. They feel like that's not the target to go in onto to start things. At least not without your Leshrac.
Gave him the grow bow as well.
Has fallen.
Makes sense. Is anyone holding that Tiny Sliver? I really want Lesh to hold it, man. I know it's important to have increased spell damage, more lower mana cost, but just live. Live, and your Bloodstone does a lot of the work for you.
So they're smoking up. Pre-Leshrac BKB, which would have been a huge item, but they feel like they need to take a fight now with this Observer Ward that scouts out Ray. That's a great target to get the initial pick off onto, but the damage isn't there at the moment. The Slark being able to protect him thanks to the Aghanim Shard, and now Die, they can look to jump into the middle as Radiant. They're stuck inside the river. Fonte, a defensive use of the BKB. But now how can you continue with a team fight with Radiant utilizing way too many resources early on? And the call is to back off. But can Die catch up though? Zone jumping over. Dolphin's going to be able to eat the arrow, but it doesn't matter. All they needed was the initial stun to close the distance onto the Lina. And now the boys have shown up as well, swarming underneath the tier 1 tower. There's going to be no escape for Dolphin and no escape for TZY, as once again, they're looking for the last member in Guo Guo. A 4-staff over the tree line, only delaying the inevitable, as once again, Team Mystique will fight another team wipe.
Another one, and this is a Slark, right? One of these heroes that's just going to extend the lead more and more as he builds up those permanent Agi slots. And, well, just another kill, unfortunately, onto Guo Guo there to be able to start the fight off. It was a pretty decent overgrowth, but just not quite in the position to be able to protect his team fully, and just have to feel like they need that BKB so much on the Leshrac that I just don't feel like that was the time to be able to go forward.
I wonder if they thought that maybe Die were taking Roche and they had to smoke and contest it. Because that ward doesn't... it's near Roche, but it doesn't particularly scout out the mouth of the pit, so maybe they just weren't aware. I don't know if they had scan up at that time as well, so...
He's got a Chrysalis on the Tiny as well, man.
Yeah, I mean, you said about the kind of awkward use of Philosopher's Stone, but he's like, nah, baby, give me that extra GPM. Let me get this Daedalus. I mean, honestly, do we blame him? Has he ever been in a position like this?
No.
Oh, he's so far.
Oh.
He's like, I want to play Zakor this game. Hang on.
Rip my pubs. That's all I gotta say.
What do Radiant need to do in these team fights? Because what we're seeing so far is just Darge swarming them. It's just 5 members running directly at the Relina, directly at the Lesh. How do Radiant get themselves set up where Fonte can get those right clicks going and you can protect the supports and kind of kite Dire at the initial start? What do Radiant need to do to have that success?
I think they've got to be the ones starting the fight for a change. And, you know, you could say that they just did that, but again, that was with a Leshrac that wasn't primed and ready to actually fight. So I think you need to get that sort of situation where Fonte has his completed Shadow Blades would be even better. And then you're able to find the backlines burst down either the Mirana or the Tiny. And then suddenly Mirana's dead, no Spirit Vessel that you have to worry about. Tiny's dead, no big AoE control to punish your low BKBs.
I think another thing really quickly as well is just that Helios did still pulverize. So we could see them maybe setting up in a side lane because you're looking to stall out this Aegis. You're not wanting to fight into it for the next 3 minutes 30. So this gives you a tool now to jump in, use that pulverize, and instant use of the telekinesis. That should be enough control for either the Lesh to get the damage out or the Lina to get the damage out as well. So, you know, that could be the call from LBZS. Just play the side lanes, maybe get that pick off with the stolen ultimate.
Could, but all the while you're going to have to go against a Slark and a DK with the Midas just continuing to level themselves up more and more. We can see Zone, I believe, is going into, I want to say, the Manta build, yeah. So he's just going to have that Aghanim Scepter, be able to use his illusions for vision. They're going to go for a smoke now with still 3 minutes left on this Aegis. Again, it's all about catching the backline.
This is a great start. This is a great start with Slark not nearby. They should be able to secure the kill early on to NJ. But do Dire still want to continue? Slark is starting to wrap on the backline. He'll get the jump onto the Mars. TZY forced to pop the BKB in a defensive way. But now this might give them the open. TZY actually jumps over the tree line. Arena doesn't really provide them a whole lot though, Radiant. You've got to be really cautious about taking this team fight now. A lot of resources were expended early on, but Dire I'm not going to look to capitalize on that. They're happy to reset.
Nice use of the Shadow Blade by Fonte as well to be able to disjoint that Dragon Tail. So wanting to make sure he's preserving that BKB at all costs. He knows how important it is as that last-ditch saving attempt if the Slug does get in on top of him. He's actually going into the Lincolns next just to, again, make sure that that sort of situation never happens in the first place. I wouldn't hate to see him go a Hurricane Pike after that. I know it feels a little bit awkward when, you know, Satanic would be nice, some extra crit would be fantastic as well, but again, I feel like you got to cover all bases here.
Invisibility.
Still though, not so many big losses as a result of that. I mean, they lose somewhat control over the bottom area of the map, but they pick up a kill for free. It does give them information though that they've got the information through the vision there. Well, what's Fonte doing up top? No, next to the Slark actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No detection though.
Ah, alright, there you go. I was going to say, is he trying to force like a BKB or some reactions out of Radiant, but he's used to the Shadow Blade and he's going to be chilling. TZY? It's the jump. The boys aren't going to be able to follow up with that spear. Does have the arena to hold Ray into a position though. And of course they know the Slark is all the way up top, so he's starting to make his way down, but it's going to take too long for him to get in the neighborhood to take that team fight before the Tiny goes down. Slark will still run into Dolphin. Leshrac trying to intercept him, but it's not going to be enough just by himself for the moment. It's a 1v1, but he needs the boys. Dolphin's by himself. Zone's doing a great job to hold back Radiant to connect to help out the Leshrac, but still, look at the damage that he's starting to output. Dolphin's AoE damage should be enough to get the kill onto NJ, but Slark goes completely untouched. The magic immunity comes in huge for him just to solo down the Leshrac.
Not just the magic immunity, but the Mage Slayer as well, right? Most of the time, you have a look at this Leshrac against the Slark, and you're like, right, this is just a one-to-one counter, but right now, is saying, you're looking pretty juicy right now, Mr. Disco Pony, and he's just looking a man up against him, even not needing to use that Aegis, which was just reclaimed. Love the Skadi pick up next for him as well. Great against Lina, great against Lesh. Just prevents any kind of escape as well.
Oh. Do we go as far to say as a silver lining that Aegis they didn't really get anything out of it? Like the gold maybe went up by like a K?
Sure. I mean, they've kept this bottom tier 2. They've kept the bottom tier 2. That's important, right? And they've still got decent vision around the area. I'm not sure what that melee creep is doing next to the cliff as well. He's just chilling, you know, giving a little bit of vision to the next of it. But yeah, to me, Mystique, I think they're not too angry about things. Again, Skadi, such a big pickup for them. And Slark as well, speaking of him with the Skadi pickup, he's almost reached his level 25.
They want to try and defend this bottom tower, it looks like. Arrow just scouts out Gua.
And he's dropped the Philly. Okay, even more damage now for Ray.
They're going to be cautious how far they move over on TZY. Gets the spear. And with the Lina nearby, Silver's Edge finds the break in. Zone just gets blown up. And TZY gets a connection onto the Slark as well, but we'll be okay. Forced to pop the BKB in. An easy pounce to disengage, but okay. I mean, we are seeing what can happen, Denog. And maybe that's the recipe for these next couple of fights. I asked a question earlier, and you said it had to be Radiant starting the team fight, and we just saw them. If TZY finds the spear and drags back where Lina is already so far away from Die to get on top of her under like their own territory, then you can just blow one person up. And that was even without the arena. You could spear one back to like a tree, use the arena to hold that person into place, and that's like a free pickoff with Lina nearby.
It is. I mean, and that was a...
Well, gotta be cautious now, brother. Of course, with Helios nearby, this guy's chilling.
Nah, he's good. He's got his Cloak of Flames. You've got the Lina did basically 800 right-click damage in one click against a Dragon Knight, one of the tankiest heroes in the entire game. So, I mean, that certainly can't be underrated, that Fonte is still getting pretty big in his own right. He's top of the net worth and showing why Lina is so scary. Not even yet level 25 either.
And not even full slotted as well on Fonte. Gonna be that Satanic as his next item.
Yep.
Of course. his counterpart Slark just hit the 25, so he's got that 50 plus 50 second essence shift duration. Oh no, they're just gonna miss on the stun. Slark's a bit cautious though. That damage is coming out pretty goddamn fast.
Overgrowth's used
The
though.
overgrowth being off the marker. They're gonna go back in. Slark, of course, still has a lot of defensive toolkits to utilize. They're gonna look to go for the DK instead, but the speed doesn't connect. Now, Ready, you gotta get out. A whiffed initiation might cost a bit. Fonte, he wants to try and get himself stacked up, but he doesn't have the Fury Soul stacks to continue to man fight, so it's just an all-out retreat. Fonte, they get this spear onto the Slark off the right side, though they've isolated the Leshrac. An easy kill for Die to find. Now they're onto Fonte next as well, but the Lina, now she's got the stacks to work with. They're going to look to play the distance. Just kite the BKB. Once it expires, they can go in for the finishing blow. And that'll be now. Zone plenty of damage. Into the tree line goes Helios. But there'll be no way he can escape. The Aeon Disc will only buy him some momentarily peace. The boys on Mystique find another team wipe.
They do indeed. And I mean, that nearly went disastrous actually for Mystique. Went for that pick off initially with still 3-4 seconds left on that BKB cooldown. He could have very easily got burst by the Lina and the Leshrac, and you heard as soon as that overgrowth was used, everyone started to converge onto that team fight because they knew that there really wasn't anything holding back the DK, the Slark, or the Primal Beast from doing damage.
Middle tower is under attack.
Oh no, buyback's going to be a big issue here for LBZS on this high ground defense. We'll pop a glyph early on. Of course, this tier 3, once it goes down, refresh the glyph status, but that push pretty goddamn fast considering the Slark has a lot of essence to work with.
That extra duration coming through, plus 50 seconds from level 25 talent. It's, yeah, of course he has the extra grow bonus damage with Tree for the Tiny. He just wants to be a damage dealing beast right now. Good reason. All right, where do you think the Tiny is going to rank at the end of this game on damage done?
Well, taking a look at that. Oh no, they put down the damage too fast. I think he was like 6. If then, I'm gonna say he'll stay. I'll say 5th. 5th on damage.
Very ballsy by you to make that claim.
What do you have more belief they will go
give him
higher
a
or
4th,
lower?
you know?
Give him 4th, alright.
A POS 5 that's able to be 4th on damage in a 40-plus minute game, that's pretty good.
I think they smoked onto the ward.
Yeah.
This smoke's gonna pop. They know they can't run up the high ground zone. That's an aggressive jump in. They're gonna try and target the Lina. A 4-star to reposition Fonte. And they're doing a good job to kite the BKBs at the moment. That's where the arena is able to come into play, but Slark just locks onto his target directly onto Fonte. That looks like there's going to be no escape for the carry of LBZS, and with him going down without a buyback, this might be all she wrote. They're going to surround Dolphin under the T2 tower. He'll make him work for it, but he himself just doesn't have the damage. The Mage Slayer heavily mitigating all the Leshrac can pump out in that team fight, and now the tier 2 will go down, and they'll be rewarded with another full set of barracks here from Team Mystique.
Will it be more than that? And yeah, they actually just call the GG. They realize without the Lina, they're not going to be able to do anything to defend this. And wow, what a great performance from Mystique. I really appreciate the way that they went about this, right? They were just all on aggression. They were all on the same page at every single stage. And they should be feeling very, very proud about that because they've just gone one step towards dismantling this Lina Treant meta.
That has to give them a lot of confidence now heading into this next draft, the fact that they were able to leave the Lina in, and maybe you can do it in